Tansin tuttemak, nitisanag, niwagumaganag, tabiskat na ogagino. I wanted to take the time today to commend our people for being proactive. Since the coronavirus was declared a pandemic, our people have been very proactive and our leadership have been very proactive in keeping their communities and their people safe. And I want to thank all our chiefs, our councillors, and all the mayors in our territory and all the people involved in leadership for being strong during this very difficult time. I also want to thank all the workers that are helping us in this pandemic crisis in our local communities. You have teams that have stepped up. Pandemic planning has taken place and people are ensuring that everything is done as it needs to be done, and I'm thankful for that. So this morning it has been revealed that there's now 72 cases in Manitoba. So it is really hitting us very close to home now. And I think that in light of that new information, I think that it is very important for all of us to do our best to follow the guidelines that have been outlined through the health authorities. Social distancing has now been termed as physical distancing because we can no longer be safe by being in populated areas and crowded areas, and we must do our utmost to ensure that we protect ourselves, protect our communities, protect our families. And the best way to do that is just by distancing yourself from anywhere that is public. I realize there's many things that need to be done to help us in our isolation, such as buying groceries and getting medicine, and we have to be very diligent and very careful how we do that, because this virus is not going to come from the inside, it's going to come from the outside. So I think that we must do our utmost to ensure that we protect ourselves and protect our families and our communities. So I think that it's important that we do those things, because doing the right thing will save people's lives. And doing the right thing will minimize the impact that the virus will have in our First Nations. So it's going to get worse. Unfortunately, that's the reality and the fact of what we are facing here with the coronavirus. It's going to get worse before it starts to dissipate, before we can put it behind us. So now we must be very careful what we do. And I know that a lot of people are now doing lockdowns in their First Nations. Where that is possible, I commend you, because I believe that is the safest thing that we can do for our people. And people have the right within their own First Nations to determine what is best for their people, and we applaud that. And I want to thank the people that are taking those steps, because ultimately that will minimize any kind of impact that it could have on our First Nations. So I don't know how much of an impact this virus will have on First Nations, but I just want to say, please do what you can to stay away from public places, because that's how you will contract the virus. So we need to protect our families, we need to protect our elders, those that are dialysis patients. We need to take extra care. If you have a loved one that is on dialysis, make sure that you clean the surfaces where they're around, and also in transport, that they make sure that you wipe down the seats and also places where they will be, so that they will be protected. And I never thought that we'd come to this stage where we in our communities and First Nations would have to start stocking up, because ultimately that is the best thing to do, to stock up on groceries. If you have an opportunity to get groceries that will last for a while, I know that sometimes supplies are limited and the products that we need to clean our homes are limited. We just have to start thinking of doing basic things such as Javex and water will do the same thing that anything you can buy at the store. And also washing your hands washing your hands regularly and repeatedly will do a lot of things for you to protect you. And you having that soap in your home, where you can start practicing that with all of your family members, encouraging one another to wash our hands, encouraging one another to stay away from crowded places. That will ultimately minimize the impact of the coronavirus on our First Nations, and make sure that you have traditional food. And I'm thankful for the communities that I hear are hiring people to go out and get supplies of fish and moose meat and caribou, etc. I'm thankful that those people are doing that for their First Nations, because we're going to be in here for a long time, but we need to have all those things that at our disposal, and also we need to ensure that we have enough medical supplies for ourselves that need medication. Make sure that you plan ahead. I know they're only giving 1 month, 1 month's worth of medicine, but I think that we need to make sure that you have your medications that you will need, and also have ways to have your meds transferred to your home, if at all possible. And also we encourage everybody to stay in their First Nations. Like I said, the virus is not going to come from within, it's going to come from outside. So we need to make sure that we be patient with our leadership, be patient when they make decisions. It's for our protection. So those are the things I want to encourage, and I know that the leadership has pandemic plans in place, and they're doing all that they can to mobilize those pandemic plans. So I want you to cooperate with your leadership and make sure that you do all you can to stay safe, because I think ultimately that we will get past this. It's gonna go away, but for the meantime, we have to decide to be responsible. The responsible thing to do is to make sure that we obey the directions given to us by the health authorities. And I want to commend everybody for all that you're doing in your communities, the frontline workers that are there every day. And I want to thank all the people that are working in the clinics and are working in the stores, and providing all the services that we need, essential services that we need. And a lot of people are risking their own health just to protect all of us. So I just want to thank everybody for doing their part. I want to thank everyone in your community that's part of the pandemic planning, and also the people that are securing the borders, the safety officers. And I'm thankful for our people that are volunteering, and the paramedics are working very hard, and also the health directors and their teams are working very hard. Chiefs and councils are working very hard with mayors to work together, because we're all in this together, and we were going to get through it together. So be strong, stay safe. Kinaskamit now.